Hey everyone, so this is the week 1 assignment on cell biology. You'll see even at the top it reminds you that there's 2 different options. So you don't have to do option A or option B. Don't do both. Don't freak yourself out and give yourself too much work. You'll see it's worth 9 points. You'll have a little thing here that says, submit assignments at the top. It looks a little different because I haven't published it yet. I'm trying to get everything done before I publish the final syllabus. And so it looks a little different. Okay, on this side you have the template, which is for the study guide or version A, option A. You're going to have the Center for Writing Excellence, the list style rubric, and the table style rubric. We're going to come back to those and just go through this really quickly. You'll see either way you're going to have the same questions for either the PowerPoint or the study guide. If you use the study guide, you have the template. You will be required to have full reference citations. You will also get points for having in-text citations. For the PowerPoint, you will be required to have speaker notes, and you will also have to have those full references, and there will be points for having in-text citations. Okay, so that is, I think, everything on this lovely thing that we care about right now, and you'll submit it through the assignments tab, so it should make pretty good sense, hopefully. Let me pause this for a second, and I'll open the list style rubric, then the table style rubric. Or should we just do the table first? Let's do the list first. I like the list one better. In every other assignment, I just merged the two. But this one, I just felt like being different. So I was. So let's open that list style. Okay, I've opened it up so you can see the top. First of all, in this sucker, which I know has an old header. Sorry. This sucker, I will delete that eventually. This sucker, if it bugs you to see the little different paragraph symbols, you just go up here to the paragraph button, click it, they go away. I always have it on because I spend most of my time, it seems like, editing, and it just makes my brain happy. Okay, so option A and remember option B are basically the same for the questions. A, for your study guide, you would have to have at least 4 pages. And B, you'll have to have at least 14 slides. Let's just go through the questions in A, and then we'll talk about the kind of the differences, right? So imagine that you're asked to tutor somebody else in these different concepts. You're going to create a study guide. I would use the template. If the template really bugs you and you want to do it a different way, feel free. It's not a big deal. Whatever makes you happy, just make it really clearly what prompt you're responding to. So you'll talk about how chemical reactions occur in the body. That's a point. The purpose of the scientific method is a point. How to develop a hypothesis is a point. We'll talk about a lot of this during the week anyways. How to design an experiment using the scientific method, or we're still going to talk about that. Okay, in this one it says the primary structures in plant cells, animal cells, bacterial cells, and the role of each structure. So you got to talk about the structures in all 3 of those. Don't just talk about it in one, talk about all 3. It will annoy me. Okay, how each cell makes energy for cellular processes. So I'd probably do it, here's how the plant cell makes it, here's how an animal cell makes it, and here's how bacterial makes it. And generally, brief overviews, like a sentence or 2. And then what is unique about each cell type. So what's unique about the plants, unique about the animals, unique about the bacteria. And it has a thing. We'll go over their little template in a second. Make sure you have those full references. It will just bug me. And then in B, since there's only, I think there's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 questions. So you'll probably average about 2 slides per question. We also have the title slide and the reference slide or slides. So that should get you up to 14 without a problem. So same thing, just you would have in your slide, you'd have mostly a picture or maybe 3 bullet points, and then all the rest of your text would go underneath in the speaker notes. It reminds you down here that speaker notes is that blank white box below the slide. If you don't see it, you might have to go to the bottom, like down here, and drag it up. So click, hold, and drag it. Okay? Then over here it just reminds you to use Grammarly. Oh, I love Grammarly. It's so helpful. It picks up things like how many times do you use a word. I love the words like however, unfortunately, anything like that. Those little clauses, they make me so happy. And then Grammarly says you've used however 7 times in a paragraph. And I go, editing means I need to delete most of those, if not all, except for 1. So they're really great for catching stuff like that. It's really, really nice. And it'll help improve your writing style very quickly. The reference citation generator, there's also a reference help in the class messages and with most of the other assignments that you can find, which is just a guide to the reference citation generator if you haven't used it. It's a beautiful, amazing thing. I love it to death. You still have to enter everything correctly, but once you get into the habit, it will just make things go so fast. And then you'll get into the habit where you just know what APA should look like and you won't even need to use it, but while you're learning, it really helps. Let me pause this and then pull up our traditional style. Let's scroll to the top. So it just says, I like the list, but this is really nice too because it shows you where all the points is. It just gives you a nice visual breakdown. So again, just reminding you that everything's a point for all the questions, and that's out of 7 points. Then you get 1 point for references, and this is for, I just did both of them together because they're not really different until you get to format. And it's going to be half a point for having your full references and half a point for having in-text citations. You'll be really picking on the full references, less so on the in-text citations. If you don't have full references, you're not going to get a score for your paper. You get a 0 and you'll have to go fix it. If you don't have the in-text citations, I'll just complain and you'll lose half a point. In the next week assignment, week 2, then in-text citations will become really, really important. We're working you there. Okay, so just a reminder, only do one, but it's a format. If you do the study guide, you need to have those complete sentences, format, grammar, meeting the page minimum, right? If you do the PowerPoint, it's half a point for the complete sentences, the format, the grammar. I said page minimum. Oh, I should say slide. It will still say page when you look at it, but it will say slide in the next class. And then it will be, or you may be the next class, so it may have changed. Okay, and then half a point for speaker notes. So just make sure you reach the minimums and that you have those speaker notes, okay? And that's going to be out of 9 points because they've just decided to make all the points weird. So now let me pause this and we will open that study guide template. Okay, so here's the study guide template. It's kind of lame that they didn't give you a slide template, really. Someday I may fix that, but whatever. So you'll just enter in here whatever your response is. How did the chemicals, how's the purpose, blah, blah, blah. This one's nice because it's going to say like in plants. It breaks it up really nicely so you don't forget to do anything. And then it's going to do the same thing now for animals and then for bacterial. So we talked about that anyways. Make sure you do all of them. So this way it's already nicely divided. And then you'll have your references down here. I guess we don't have to have a separate reference page because it is a study guide. Make it a separate reference page. Please do. And get the formatting right. I hate this when they do this. You know, the one thing that drives me crazy about UOP is they want everything in APA, and then look, they make their header. That is not a header, that is APA. This is not how you would do the heading. That's not how you would do the heading. It's all just not an APA. So also, I always love to have drafts submitted to me by noon on Monday. If you do that, you will find out that all this annoying stuff that drives me crazy with the lack of APA, I will just fix that for you because it bugs me. But you can totally just leave it this way. This is the way they gave it to you. This is the way you submit it. I won't take off points for it. Make sure that you can read everything. Let's see if it hides it. Will the text box? Oh, the text box extends, so we're good. Sometimes the text box won't extend and you have to be able to make it so I can read everything. But it looks like, yeah, it won't be a problem. If something weird happens, just make sure everything's visible. I don't have time to like extend text boxes or figure out what the heck you did. So just make it nice and clear. When in doubt, does this make sense? I always like, before I submit a paper or anything, I just back up and I go, does this clear? Does this make sense? Does this logical? And then you sit there and try to tweak it till it is. Sometimes it doesn't work. But this is pretty nicely laid out. So you can use this or you can create your own study guide if you're like, I just hate this. Because sometimes I feel that way about the things. Or, of course, there's option B where you can do the PowerPoint, which is where you would kind of do something like this with whatever your response here would be in your speaker notes effectively, and then you would have pretty pictures, which would probably actually, in truth, be a better study guide if you were giving it to someone because it helps to have several ways of visual learning and also the reading. But, you know, whatever works for you, whatever you feel like you're most comfortable with. I would say for references for either of them, you're probably going to have, for this first section, a reference for the chemical reactions, right? You'll probably be able to use maybe the same one for the next 2 to 3. Probably the plants will all be covered in the same reference. Kind of the same animal, site, cell, the bacterial is probably all the same. So you're probably 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. You're probably going to have about 5 to 6 references. You can have more. I love references. You know I love references. I require them for everything. They make me happy. Like, one of the best things in science is getting to see what everyone has done out there and letting it spark your imagination and see where it takes you. So always feel free to use references to just broaden and learn and be inspired. Like, science is this amazing thing, and the best part about it is when you read something and it makes you question something else. So you're like, wait, I can apply that to this other thing. And that is something we want to do. All right, so I hope this helps. Again, we're on target, not off on a tangent. I always go off on a tangent. Again, I love drafts. Usually it's Monday at noon. Occasionally life happens, and I'll send a note in the class messages. Basically, just make sure you always check your private messages and any new class messages. If you just click on it and say read, then you only have the new stuff to look at. See, trying to control that adult language. And I hope this helps.